Have you ever thought you could only sustain momentum in your business for just a few days or weeks at a time? Have you felt that high performance is kind of elusive when you are battling your way outside of the chaos of entrepreneurship? I bet you have. It is a common occurrence within the community that we serve. Let's get to it.
I am the CEO and founder of Selfmastered, which is a high-performance training company. We help entrepreneurs and business leaders scale their businesses by teaching them 8 core high-performance skills that allow them to operate at peak potential when managing their businesses.
Now, before we dive into this video, remember to like, subscribe, and comment so you never miss out on any of our juicy videos that are designed to help you reach your next level in your life and business. First, let's start by defining what is momentum. Momentum is that force that propels you forward, that leads you to your goals. And the term itself comes from the world of physics, more specifically from the first Newton law, which states that a body in motion will remain in motion unless acted upon by a counterbalancing force. So the idea here is that if you are able to sustain momentum, if you're able to push forward for a long time, all of your results will eventually come true, because results are a function of performance. If we sustain that high performance, which in this case is equal to momentum, those results will eventually materialize. And in my experience, those entrepreneurs that are able to sustain momentum irrespectively of the external circumstances are those that end up winning big, because entrepreneurship is always full of ups and downs. But if you're able to remain locked in on the prize and week on week increase your performance, you will eventually get there. It is a matter of time, not a matter of chance. One of the key aspects of cultivating momentum is that sense of positive expectancy that comes from fulfilling one goal. If you know exactly what it is that you should be doing at each moment of the day and you actually do it, then you tend to believe that everything will work out just fine. That is what positive expectancy actually means. And in order to understand exactly how to best harness the power of momentum, we need to differentiate between what we call micro momentum and what we call macro momentum. Micro momentum is the one that you can develop within a day. The mental velocity that you can acquire on any given day by knocking tasks one after the other. As you start your day slowly and tackling tasks that are of increasing difficulty, you are at full performance when lunchtime arrives. That is how you harness the power of micro momentum, which is why it is so important to have a good hygiene on your workday, to really understand how to put order within the chaos, to avoid being distracted, so that you can eventually unleash that powerful micro momentum force. And once you have several days in which you have had sound micro momentum, what happens is that you achieve macro momentum, which is progress, a steady progress towards your long-term goals. Macro momentum is defined by weeks and months in which you are consistently executing on the right things, which inevitably will breed the results you want. If you start missing days, then you will get back to square one. If you backslide too many times, then do not expect to be operating at full performance, because it will take some time for you to get there. Peak performance requires macro momentum for several weeks so that you're able to achieve it, and more importantly, sustain it. And now, before we dive deep into what can you do to harness the power of macro momentum and make sure that you do not get swayed away your goals, please let me know in the comments, what do you normally do to sustain high performance and therefore keep momentum up in your business? Do you have any specific strategy? Do you have any specific protocol that you have been using throughout the years to make sure you're always in your A level? I would love to know and learn from you. Now, here's my step-by-step process that I follow with myself or our clients to really refine the model and make sure that we keep the momentum up. Step 1 is about defining the goals of the quarter. Yearly goals are not actionable, and much less 3-year goal and 5-year goals. What you need is a 90-day goal in which you can execute with ferocity. But the problem is that you need to know exactly what it is that you're chasing. If you try to execute on too many fronts at the same time, you will make no progress. It is very hard to sustain momentum across a wide variety of goals because that dilutes your focus and reduces your effectiveness. So the first thing is to understand exactly what it is that you're chasing and trim away everything that is not aligned with that goal. Remember, entropy is all around us. It is very easy for us to get distracted and start making the urgent things important things, and therefore messing up with our quarterly execution roadmap. This is something to be avoided. You need to be super clear about what it is that you're trying to do this quarter and only do that. Step number 2 is have a scoreboard. You need to know how many initiatives will you be launching this quarter, how many projects do you need to complete, how many calls are you going to make, how many emails are you going to send. You need to have clear KPIs for those roadmaps that you set for the quarter. If you want X amount of revenue, you need to reverse engineer how many marketing campaigns that is, how many calls that is, how much products you need to sell, how many clients do you want. That's how you put figures into the plan and make it actionable. By breaking it down to the smallest step, you can create that sense of positive expectancy that comes from momentum. And finally, you need to architect and systematize your workday, because remember, the game is played at the level of the day. If you are unable to sustain micro momentum, it will be impossible to get to the macro momentum that you seek for yourself in your life. So unless you are able to schedule every single initiative and project in your calendar and understand what are the key KPIs that need to be conquered each time of the day, it's going to be very hard to fulfill those plans in the long term. So first, understand what is a quarterly goal. What are you actually trying to achieve? 2, breaking down to the smallest step that you can do right now and have clear KPIs to understand exactly what it is that you need to be doing, and finally put that into your calendar. How to make sure that things get done? Well, because they're living in your calendar and in your dashboard if you happen to use one, so that you never miss out on those. So you're always ready to execute. And this is how I sustain momentum in my business, is how we teach it, by being extremely clear on the goal we're pursuing, having extremely clear KPIs and a scoreboard to know if we are getting there or not, and having total mastery and control over our schedule. This is the most important thing really that you can do to keep momentum in your business. Remember, results are predicated on your ability to sustain your performance for long enough. If you're operating at peak performance every single day, if you are harnessing micro momentum, you will eventually get those results you seek. And those results will probably come much faster than you initially thought. I hope this was useful. Please let me know in the comment if it was. And of course, see you in the next video.